since Cyberpunk 2077's DLC is next month, and I haven't beat the game yet. We answer the question, can you beat Cyberpunk 2077 with just your hands? The rules are, I can only attack with melee damage, minus the unavoidable car sequences where I have to use the weapons they give. I cannot use cybernetic upgrades like the gorilla hands. We will be using our god-given tools of mass destruction and fisting. And to make the spreading of our rectums part even deeper, we will go bare bones booty butt naked in this run, so no armor too. Also, just like me, we play on very hard. Our neurodivergent story begins as we make a power-hungry corporate bottom feeder in a conglomerate. And it's only right to model our V after the greatest one-punch hero, Dominic Toretto. With the power of family and Jason Love's massive dong on our side, we look at what a Giga Tyrone we are. My knees are weak, arms are heavy, I vomit in the sink mom's ravioli, and tell my boss that I'm quitting my job to become a SoundCloud rapper. He likes the idea and tells me to bring it to J. Cole's manager so I can get signed into Dreamville. But like all rappers before they get on XXL, I pray to Juice WRLD in heaven and drink his blood that has been given to me in remembrance of lucid dreams and wet memes. My Uber dropped me off at a Walmart grocery section and I tapped in with the brother Jackie Wells. He was slapping my new mixtape into his ethically ambiguous cerebrum, but he ended up seeing my Rule 34 collection of Aunt Cass. Like Toretto said, you must always share things with friends. But it turns out my mixtape had one too many copyright strikes from a clip of Saburo doing moderate speech as the intro. Even though they took my job, they couldn't take my family. So begins the redemption arc of the Fast and Furriness anime. We drop all the straps and do our first mission. Even though we could do a stealth takedown on these metal pieces of shit, I denied that motion just because of the valid reason that mama did not raise no derogatory term for a female dog, so we start to throw hands. After dying, I realized that as long as the enemy can see me, their shots were gonna hit, and since my blocking was so useful for this run, I decided to use the great strategy from Sun Tzu's Art of War, and I quote, "Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to your mom's house," and I try to isolate all these group fights into 1v1s by hiding behind cover and baptizing them with my fists. 10 deaths later, and some being chilling, we get into our first Forrest Gump scene of shame. But I'll skip this scene since the embarrassment brought tears of blood down my ass cheeks. To redeem ourselves, we go sparring with Baymax's cousin.
Hello, I am Baymax.
And beat him on our first try, like the god gamers we truly are. Now that we are redeemed, we get our first big boy errand from DJ Khaled. It turns out we still have a chance to be signed to We the Best Music, and it's different now because I have Jackie, which means I have my family. But in order to get onto everyone's Spotify Rap 2023 playlist, we had to take care of two things. First was to link up with the blue hair Twitch streamer Evelyn and her Discord kitty Judy to put on the newest Oculus Rift headset, discovering Adam Smasher's sexual preferences and the location of our sweet gem, Keanu Reeves. And the last thing was to air out rival rap group Maelstrom so we can take all the studio time we ever wanted. Turns out these guys wanted out of the rap game and went into the film industry. They took us to a familiar black couch. When asked if I wanted to be starred in their next video, I declined and said big man upstairs would be ashamed if I did something this haram. Due to creative differences, we started throwing hands with the whole gang and I did my best to leave no controversial evidence that will ruin my public image. After taking this W home, me and Rick Ross made a deal to go back to our corporate job to snatch the man, the meme, the minister himself, Keanu Silverhand, inside of a USB. But shit starts to hit the fan here, folks, and we hide to see Ada Jr. take a page from the Red Wedding and embrace his dear Saburo thick saka around the neck. That embrace was a little too tight, but if there's one thing I hate more than nepotism, it's someone else killing my platinum sample maker. Don't worry, because I watched Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible and know how this movie plays out. Cruz Onichan once said in The Art of War, "I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees and they speak Vietnamese." With me, Jackie, and the power of family on our side, we started to fist our way to victory, penetrating every new wall that became erect as it came. Coming. Until we met Metal Gear Solid 4. I may not have a brain, but I have an idea, and that involves overdosing on my inhaler and shoving these glorious fists up the Metal Gear's stinky dirty femur. We were now out of the frying pan and into the moist limo. Lucky for us, this vehicle was the living embodiment of Adam Smasher's definition of as he tried to smash into us. I wish Smasher would have caressed us to death back there with his long flowing hair and soft hands. That way he could have saved me from this shameful gun sequence. Top it all off, I lost Jackie, my only friend. Now you thought I was gonna say the F word, but instead, the F word I'm looking for can only be used to express this inner chaotic turmoil that I'm feeling. That's right, I'm flaccid. So to get me back into the mood, I fist Jackie's shoulder one last time before giving him a goodnight kiss. With the rage of 1,000 dragon dildos, I confront 400-pound Future the Rapper about this evil world we live in, but he didn't like me when I told him to calm down on the cheesecake.
No blaze of glory for me.
Little did he know, he just sent me into living the memories of Johnny the Winter Soldier Silverhand. Now at this point in the game, the player would be dicking people down with Johnny's legendary gun, but the only thing the Silverhand was meant to be was an oversized butt plug shoved up the Ara soldiers. With my silver heart on, I became a one-man army with fast health regen, and 7 respawns later, Young Smasher breaks off the door, shoots off our trademark, and then we get uploaded onto Elon Musk's new beta software for the Tesla Cybertruck. But little did the People's Electric Champion know, I don't have enough YouTube subscribers to afford a Cybertruck pre-order, so Elon kicks us off, and we wake right up to see our friend Dex get smoked by our new favorite hero from the land of the rising sun, Takamura. I take that back, because this motherfucker couldn't hit the Tokyo Drift, so one forced gun scene and a painful opening of my urethra later, we start tripping balls and Keanu starts feeding into V's shame kink. With consent, of course. That, everyone, was the moistest Keanu dream you'll ever see. Cold showers to clean the mind. Okay. Our next move was to speak to our senpai and plan our redemption arc. This is the part in the manga where we come up with an idea for a Twitch stream and we look for our blue-haired streamer Evelyn. But our search had us take a few minor detours, which led us to unloading some raw sessions of fisting onto every physically abled body that we laid our eyes on in the whole entire club. We come face to face with our first boss, Woodman, the club owner, and I knew from his intimidating aura that we would win easy thanks to all the practice matches with Baymax.
Hello.
With our cyber detective Sherlock Holmes skills, we found clues leading to Evelyn's location. So we drove off, flexed the power of family in front of these hooligans, and gently used force to pry this door wide open. We met eyes with the man who could find us our blue-haired Twitch streamer. So like any sensible detective would do, we softly caressed his ears with our hands and whispered sweet nothings like the great Sherlock.
First, discombobulate.
Judy then kidnapped us into the mystery van. We put on our Oculus Rift headset and began using our powers of deduction to locate Evelyn's location at an abandoned factory. Our spirits high and love juices filled, we stormed the compound holding up Evelyn. This mission taught me a harsh lesson, and it was that this should have been a speedrun, because I started clipping through walls like it was Mario 64. Turns out, after putting enough skill points into athletics and street brawling, V unlocks the discombobulate technique, and I intend to use it to its full potential, along with my art of fisting. However, after a few more revives and inhales later, I realized that there were too many guns and too little fists. I started to rethink my approach to navigating through the compound and came up with an idea. I used a strategy done by the great Eric Cartman.
Scanning for Mexicans.
To tag each enemy with the God Eye, so I can see them coming and hide behind the walls while inserting these fists into their poop holes. I forgot you could scan people since I skipped the tutorial in the beginning, but now it's time to go full on guerrilla cyber warfare. The mission was a success. Now Judy had us link into Evelyn's memories, and we were shocked to find out that she's been cancelled and made a sus deal with some Best Buy thugs. Keanu's chip for Twitch partner had just started streaming on Kick or Rumble, but no, she wanted to stay loyal to her fan base, and I respect that. I contacted a no-face man for information on the gang and had to wait for the callback, and what better way to keep myself busy than serving my community and enacting fisting justice to this local skirmish. With my one good deed of the year out of the way, Mr. Hands connects us to the infamous Netrunners and one of their commanders, Ronnie Coleman, the 8-time Mr. Olympia. Turns out he was in the middle of his meal prep. Pocket chicken. The trend champion had a way with words and was able to eloquently persuade me by giving me a task.
You take job. You do what I say.
The job was to find a van, but Mr. Coleman forgot to mention that I'm snatching a van from your local 24-hour fitness, thus beginning one of the hardest sections of the game, where I go up against bodybuilders of all shapes, sizes, and gender pronouns. Not only are these muscle monstrosities roided out their damn minds, they're also cycling the newest flavor of G Fuel and cybernetic implants. However, the forces of Tren and cheap caffeinated power were no match for a natty gym bro such as myself and my big brain strategy. I say this as I struggled to make past the first couple rooms, but the amount of muscle was useless when it came to guarding their nuts against my fists. In the middle of the heat and chaos, Ronnie gave me some words of wisdom.
If you must, finish them one at a time.
And we're back. Some hits to the first aid inhaler, and I'm in the ring with Sasquatch, aka Matilda, aka Miss Ronda Rousey herself. She was the last bastion guarding the payload, and it was time to pull all 2 brain cells together and fist her, but not in the way that I would have liked. The first thing I had to get rid of was her camel pack filled with horse sperm. Now she has no way of healing herself back up. She did not disclose her gender pronouns, and like all red pill men in 2024, I didn't care, and just assumed woman, so the nut punch strat was out of the question. Ronda Rousey could not handle the Chad that are my brown hands. The van was right before my chrome brown eyes. I sprint to it, but it turns out I had to hack the van, not drive it. Then Mr. Olympia's next job for me was to find a secret agent hiding in the mall and end his whole career. But first, I had to stop by Roundup for a quick pump and dump. With that all out of my system, it was time to confront the agent. There he was in the theater. He had narc written all over his face, and I caught him in 4K playing Redneck Redemption 2 or watching Brokeback Mountain. This guy wanted to make a deal with me to betray my gym bros and start a new life, free from testosterone and gym creeps staring at my thick set of cheeks. But I liked the attention and free gym membership, so I knocked his ass out, connected to his brain without his consent, and got bamboozled by Ronnie Coleman, frying one of my brain cells. Keanu and his cryptic wisdom cured my brain damage and hyped me up because it was time to take the Mr. Olympian Natty title. I called my Uber, but to my surprise they were working for Mr. Coleman and wouldn't let me ride in shotgun, so instead I hopped on top of the cart like any sensible customer would. Pissed off at his betrayal, I left a 1-star review and started projecting my anger and insecurities at Ronnie's men. Now that Ronnie cleared all the bullshit with me, I was introduced to Brigitte, and she told us to find Alt, the one who could take care of me and Johnny Silverclit's situation. Here we go again with another one of the finer moments of living Keanu's memory, blowing his lead into the audience and making greasy sex with Alt. But Johnny's performance was not enough and could not save her from what was about to unfold. Alt became the Princess Peach to our tale, and then we went off. With hard cocks, empty loads, and poor decisions, we do our best to save our damsel in distress. We raided Arasaka Tower to save her, but just like a performance in the bedroom, we didn't come in time. Turns out that Alt's consciousness was uploaded into the dark web. She had all the power, all the leaked celebrity nudes, all the Jumba Chukiba R34 pics in the world, and the answer to our problems. She told us that to save V from dying, we have to gather an army to raid Arasaka at Mikoshi. With that in mind, we go on to the first person to help us, Rogue. I had to make a down payment of a few thousand schmeckles for her help. It's a good thing I sold every weapon I picked up on the way. Rogue was able to locate Hellman, the scientist working on the Johnny Silverhand SD card stuck in our neck. In order to kidnap him, we needed the help of the top romance baddie in the game, Panam.
Good smell. Flavor.
Panam could help us, but we had to go to war for her first. This presented us with the opportunity to ass blast a bunch of sandy desert thugs. And in the end, we tried to win over her heart with our W-Riz. I not only lost the opportunity to break her cherry, she broke my ego with a force gun sequence. But this mission let me put good use of my Baymax Sensei's lessons, and then check fisting Decepticons off my bucket list. We got ourselves bamboozled again because it turns out that Hellman was relocated, and I had to prep these weapons of mass destruction with another showdown at your local Chevron gas station. After 3 deaths and laying out these goons with my carnage, I saved my putty princess Hellman. Before leaving, I had a chance to meet my future father-in-law, Saul, and boy was he absolutely livid at the fact that I'm spitting game at his baby girl Panam. But I snatched Hellman, we had a nice chat about the weather. He also told me that me and Johnny Winter Soldier's permanent union was inevitable. I got fed up with this guy, so I left this princess with my Oni-chan, Takamura. Time passed, and I went to a secret rendezvous with my senpai. The plan was to get Hanako, the sister of the granddad murderer, onto our side. He was telling me all this while he tried to make up with his ex. I sat back NTR style as I watched my senpai try to reignite the flame they once had together. But senpai did not have enough points in W-Riz, so Oda broke up with Take-chan for good. I had to wait a day for his heart to recover, so I decided to go visit Babe. It was just me and her in the soothing silence of the night. and I was hoping to finish what we had started at the motel. But she had other plans. Daddy Saul was kidnapped, so begins Operation Rescue the Dad in Distress so I can get his girl in a wedding dress. The actual rescue mission wasn't that bad. The worst part was the love of my life forced my hands to use firearms again.
More like this. Take care of yourself.
But it was all worth it in the end. Don't be jealous. I'll make sure to give a nice moist mwah to all my viewers at the end. But the next kiss will be the union of my lips on Panam's ass cheeks. With that out of the way, our boy Takamura gave us a phone call for our next pyramid scheme. Takamura, using his 5-head Samurai Jack bun-wearing 4D chess-playing cerebral cortex, had concocted a multi-layered plan to get Hanako during the parade. Our objective is to take down the 3 snipers perched above so we can use our charisma stat to convince her to join our crusade. Navigating the first sniper was easy, and after his ass-clapping session was over, it was off to the next. Heights, trip mines, and random drones were the obstacles in my path to mass fisting. But after some deaths and sniffing some G Fuel, I got wired. Everything was moving slower. I'm currently running on 2 hours of sleep, intrusive thoughts, and Oreo, and I was ready to take on God or become him this challenge. The first 2 snipers got laid out with these hands of justice. The road to the 3rd sniper opened my rectum after every death. It was blocked by a 1-pump chump and a drone using pinpoint accuracy to shoot bullets up my asshole. But then I noticed something that I would use for the rest of the run. The enemy AI will do their best to not shoot their teammates if they are in the line of fire, because they take damage from their own bullets. By using my improvised cover, I can block shots from the drone and beat the drone out after I'm done with the soldiers. Now I can grab the 3rd sniper's cock and twist it. However, the mission was not accomplished, edge runners. We had to free some bandwidth by unplugging Hanako's Netrunner from our internet. Right when we're about to unplug her, here comes another showdown. The most anime ninja Sekiro boss ever. Oda. This was my favorite boss fight. Everything from the slashing, invisibility, and self-heal all stewed up the butterflies in my bowels for this hands-only challenge. I can see how Oda stole Takamura-chan's heart all those years ago. I had complete confidence in winning every boss fight, but this was different. There was more at stake. This was also a fight for Takamura's undivided love and attention, and I would be a fool if I let Oda live to have another opportunity to come back into his arms. I fisted Oda to the ground with his body all squirming. Takamura gave me a call.
What is your status, Oda? Is he dead?
He let their history together cloud his judgment when we all knew that I was the superior pronoun for this relationship, and with one wind-up,
Sorry, Oda.
Senpai's heart was all mine. He just needed a little bit of gaslighting to get his priorities straight. All that was left was to convince Hanako to join our side. But since Oda's heart was torn between his past love and his feelings for me, he could not muster the right words to win her over. But it's okay, because with some sleep darts, she was only given the illusion that she had a choice. I finally finished Takamura's job, and we can start a new life together, away from the stench and smog of the city.
They have found us! Damn it!
Amidst all the dumpster fire hotel shootings, I managed to escape without my senpai. Takamura left a hole in my heart, but his feelings was only plan B. Hanako wanted to give her condolences by choosing my side in the war against her brother. All that was left was to go back to my main chick Panam. The Rizzler makes a return to sweep Panam off her dusty feet. Not only am I winning her affection, I am earning my spot as a part of the film. If you were to ask me if all the forced gun scenes and long dialogue was worth it,
Remember what I said about impulses?
yes. Yes, it was. After all the hard work I put into Panam's request and her cooch, her dad finally gave our relationship his blessings, and the wedding is scheduled in 2 months. Now it was time to come clean, to open the skeletons out of our metaphorical urethra. We tell our waifu Panamu the truth of our schizophrenic demon, Johnny Silverhand. She still accepts us, brain damage, autism, and all. Now, we have our army to fight Ara. Before reaching the climax of our sensual fist journey, we had to let Johnny go wild one last time, because spoiler alert, I want V to keep his body and ride into eternal bliss for the last moments of his life. All that was left was to speak to Miss Ara to start the final mission, and given that the only link I had with Hanako was Takamura, I had no incentives of playing patty cake with old emotion. Naturally, I told my baby cakes the whole situation, and she brought me to camp so we can plan the final operation. Father-in-law reluctantly erects his wiener in support of saving my neuro CPU. The plan was to dig a hole and tap into the power of the Underminer. Now with my fists fully reloaded and the power of my new family, we march onto the final destination. After penetrating Penetrating their base's hymen, I marked my territory on their front yard, and 5 respawns later proceeded to Operation Underminer to take over from Incredibles 2, but actually succeed. Arasaka and Adam Smasher better duck, cause I'm about to turn left and start smacking everyone with my dick. That's a fuckable piece of meat. Fuck. There goes father-in-law. Adam smashed this fuckable meat. The fight against Smasher was the most anticlimactic canon event throughout this run. This Walmart Darth Vader can only damage me when he called in his goons to gun me down. I miss all the other boss fights, especially the one against Rhonda. With the power of family and dumping my stats into athletics and street brawler, I was an absolute unit. With every swing I took, the power of 1,000 queeps penetrated this metal octopus, and he was finally blown away for good. I take one final ice bath and send Keanu Reeves into the digital shadow realm. Now me and my pandacy can make uninterrupted dank sandy love. We leave the night city and drive off into the sandstorm. This is the end of Can You Beat Cyberpunk 2077 with only your hands? With the exception of all the mandatory drive-bys, the answer is yes. Shout out to Senza for having the original challenge. And if you're watching this, it is my smooch back to you. Everyone that made it to the end, please comment. We miss you, Senza. Also like and sub to support the channel and check my other socials. Mwah.